Alex, would you agree with a Miller move, or would you rather have that cap space and the assets spent on him on a defenseman in case, not just because Lyubushkin's good player.
Sure.
But if Muzzin is out to start the playoffs, is it better used on another defenseman, not named Benchera?
Yeah, a right-handed defenseman who's not Justin Hall. Because I've had about enough.
I don't have a preference.
I don't know if you've seen I don't know if you guys have seen The Hangover, but there's, I think in the second one, Zach Galifianakis goes, "I'm at my wit's end. I am at my wit's end with Justin Hall." My stance doesn't change on the Jared McCann stuff. But still,
Leaf legend.
They need a right-handed defenseman that can play top 4 minutes. Ilya Lyubushkin, staple him next to Rasmus Sandin. I think that would be perfectly fine. But they need someone to play next to Jake Muzzin when he comes back, who is not named Justin Hall. I saw the JT Miller suggestion. Unless JT Miller can magically make Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner score in the playoffs, why are you adding another forward piece when you have a clear weakness in defense? I thought it's a 3-2 league, not a 5-4 league. Which one is it?
So I want to say, so if they were to add JT Miller, beside the fact he can play center, that would knock Alex Kerfoot down the lineup and therefore knock out probably Pierre Engvall, which isn't the worst thing in the world, or Mikheyev, but nah.
Well, to get the money to work, but I understand, but JT Miller has an extra year on his contract. So now we have to somehow make this work for next year, which again, I'd rather make it work on the back end than make it work up front. So Kerfoot's probably part of that deal, I'd imagine.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame for him, by the way, because damn, wasn't he good in the playoffs last year? And then, so let's just say you add Miller there. Okay, Kerfoot's gone in the bottom 6 days out of this. Maybe they add another guy. Who knows?
Sure.
Because even before, I think it was kind of said they wanted to get another forward. Who knows? Some guy, Phil Kessel. Not going to happen, but we can all hope.
Yeah, I doubt.
Then for the rest of the regular season, if they're being very careful to start the playoffs, you have a Riley Brody. We know how good it is. Sandin in the top 4 with Ilya Lyubushkin. And then Dermot Lilligren. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Then,
Justin Hall goes in there, but that's still like, ooh, no.
How do I staple an X to that? Because I don't want it. I don't want. Okay. I'm not trying to say JT Miller's a bad player, but there's a difference between making a good trade and making a reckless trade. Adding JT Miller to the team would be good if they had a better defense. You're adding to a strength instead of adding to a weakness. I get what
you're meaning.
You're adding more to the chicken patty than you are to the bread if it's a chicken sandwich.
So let's just say that is then going in. Let's, for the sake of argument, say the Panthers get Ben Sherrod.
Yeah.
It's that defensive core versus Weegar, Ekblad, Gudas, Forsling, Sherrod, and Brandon Montour.
I won't even watch it.
And that's not even saying how good the Panthers are up front, because a lot of people are doing the McDavid Matthews thing for the heart, and Jonathan Huberdeau is second in scoring, and I think he's a point behind McDavid. That's the level that we're playing at right now with the Panthers. I won't even get up Tampa Bay because we all know what Tampa Bay are. Very quiet in media coverage this year, Tampa Bay, and it's frightening.
Yeah, it's quite frightening. Like again, it's not the thing with adding JT Miller is now we're accepting the fact that, okay, sorry, let me rewind a little bit. After last year, after the loss against Montreal, obviously the main discussion point was that the big guys weren't scoring. Matthews and Marner, Matthews got shut down tremendously. Marner was, I don't know. But we had the discussion about, we should have added Taylor Hall. Okay, yes, you're right. That was probably the better move. But that being said, what we're doing there is we're admitting that they can't perform in the playoffs. So we have to add more secondary scoring, even though this is probably the best Leafs team in terms of depth of the last few years, in terms of how they're performing. So we're now admitting that the front guys, the big boys, can't perform in the playoffs. Now we're having another serious discussion about this core, if that's what we're okay with admitting.
What is it? The thing they say about JT Miller is he brings you into the fight, I think was the phrase, which is, I think of a Bunting and Simmons. Now, obviously, JT Miller is much more gifted offensively than those two, but I think that's another thing to the thought of Miller. What's funny is you bring JT Miller and he's probably your fifth best forward, which is hilarious because he's like the second best on Vancouver, but then it's, all firepower, no armor. You know what I mean? It's like, imagine a tank without the armor. Yeah, not much use.